welcome to ABC Interactive English. Hello, everyone. I'm Mike.
Hello, I'm Kiki.
And here we are back for part C. That's day 3 to you and me, for it's time for a snack.
Yummy.
Wow, it's been time for a snack for 2 days now. I'm not sure my doctor is happy about all this snacking, but who cares about that guy? He's boring. It's time for a snack, and today we're going to talk about our favorite snacks from when we were a kid that we just don't have anymore. Maybe because, it's not so good for us, or you grew up in Singapore, I grew up in Canada. Maybe we can't get these snacks here in Taiwan. So is there a snack that you can think of loving as a kid, and now you're just, it's been 10 years, or maybe I won't eat it, but I'd like to have just a few, or, I want those again. Get me more. Fly them in on an airplane. I don't care.
Well, we keep talking about snacks, and all I can think about are my favorite candies.
What was that?
I love Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, I was going to say that one.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, and Gushers.
Ooh, Gushers are weird.
But
they just felt wrong.
Okay, so eating it as an adult now,
yeah,
they do taste weird.
You bite into it, it's gummy. You bite into it, and then this liquid explodes in your mouth. It's wrong, but so good.
Yeah, but I don't know if I can have Gushers anymore. Sour Patch Kids.
Those are the ones. We talked about gummies, like those little gummy bears or the little gummy cola bottles, right? Now, Sour Patch Kids are shaped like a little child, which is weird. And they're very sour. They put like a special kind of lemony dust on them. I used to always buy a bag for a movie. And I would sit there in a movie and I would just eat them like this. And by the time the movie was over, my mouth was like this because they're so sour, your mouth starts to shrink like this. So it was really strange, but so good.
Your tongue probably.
Your tongue feels like fur.
Yeah.
It feels like someone put carpet on your tongue. And you can't really taste food for another day or so, but Sour Patch Kids are so good. My mom put a tiny little Halloween bag size in my Christmas package this year. I ate them in like 10 seconds and I just wanted more. So there you go. Snacks are part of our childhood. They're part of our memories, and sometimes they're just wrong, but they're also so right. Let's get to part C. Debbie and Henry just tried out some new snacks.
I'm not much of a meat person, but I really enjoyed the beef jerky.
Me too, but it was a bit spicy. What about the dried squid?
It's not my cup of tea. I found it too fishy.
So did I. Also, I found the nougat too hard to chew and even harder to swallow.
All right, so yes, it's time for a snack again. This is part C, and it's our old friends here, Debbie, who loves the classic snacks, the kind of unhealthy ones, and Henry, whose mom was boring, and he only had healthy snacks as a kid, but he's probably in really good shape. But anyways, Debbie and Henry, they just tried out some new snacks. Exciting. Maybe they tried Sour Patch Kids. Who knows? But let's check it out. What's going on?
Okay, Debbie says, I'm not much of a meat person, but I really enjoyed the beef jerky.
Oh, that's a snack we haven't talked about.
So beef jerky, they're like meat, but or beef in this case. You can have all different types of jerky. And basically a jerky is when you dry up these different types of meat and you put lots of seasonings, spices, and you basically just snack on it or you chew on the jerky.
Yeah, I think traditionally it was like food for people who are traveling long distances. You know, meat would go bad and get smelly, but they would dry it out and then you kind of chew on it so you get some of the good stuff from meat. But now they just sell it in plastic bags and you can eat it. I think it's very high in salt.
Yes.
And probably very high in things like nitrates, like we get in bacon and ham, which are not really good for you. But, you know, for a hiking trip or a camping trip, jerky might be very good. Just don't eat pounds of it while you're watching TV. She said she's not much of a meat person. Now, of course, a person is a person, a human, a man, a woman, a child. We are all people, okay? An individual. People is a person, okay? You're not a monkey, you're not a lion, you're not an elephant, you're a human, you're a person. But we can also put a noun or something in front of that to say we're not a fan of this kind of thing, all right? So I'm not a meat person, means I prefer vegetables and fruit, I might eat rice and stuff, but I don't eat a lot of big steaks or giant hamburgers or something. You might say, I'm not much of a horror movie person. I'm not really a fan of horror movies, okay? Something like that. I'm not too much of a jazz person. I know people like jazz music, but I'm more into pop, okay? So that just means I'm not that kind of person. I don't have that style. I don't kind of follow that trend or like that type of thing. So she doesn't eat a lot of meat, but jerky's not too bad, according to Debbie. Now, Henry says, me too. So me too, maybe he's not a meat person, but he enjoyed it as well. But he adds it was a bit spicy, a bit a bit hot in his mouth. Maybe he likes the plainer style of jerky and not the hot, spicy Mexican type or something like that. Now, here's another type of food that we eat dry as a snack. What about the dried squid? Yeah, you can get dried squid. Sometimes it's kind of cut up into long ribbons, right? And people eat it like that. So that's another popular snack, especially in this part of the world.
Right. So there are a lot of these dried, meaty snacks, and we know you need a lot of salt.
Yes, you do.
Right, because you need to preserve it, you need to dehydrate this meat so that you can chew on it. But we also know that people use a lot of different spices and chili to make this snack very spicy. Okay, so when something is spicy, it usually has chili in it. So because of the chili seeds, it is very spicy. So when something is spicy, it kind of burns your tongue a little.
Yeah.
It makes the food, sometimes it brings out the flavor of the food.
It makes me sweat.
It does. And sometimes if people eat too spicy, their tummy might not feel so good.
Yeah, you might not enjoy it tomorrow if you have too much spicy hot pot, for example. But you're right, people like it. Taiwanese food is not too spicy. Thai food can be spicy. Indian food, Mexican food, things like that. And some people like a lot, some people like a little, some people don't like any spice or spiciness in their food.
Yeah. So Henry asks Debbie about the squid.
The dried squid as a snack, yeah.
Okay, so Debbie says, it's not my cup of tea.
Okay, she's not a squid person.
No, I found it too fishy.
Okay, it can be quite fishy.
So she doesn't like it. It's not something she prefers. It could have a fishy taste.
It's true. Dried squid, dried fish, it does often have a stronger fishy taste. If you have fresh squid or like fry it like calamari, it really doesn't have much of a fishy taste at all. So that's, personal choice. She thought it was a bit fishy, and in this matter on this thing, Henry also agrees. He says, so did I. Too fishy for me as well. Also, I found the nougat too hard to chew and even harder to swallow. Good point, Henry. Every time I have some nougat, even if I like it, I do worry about my teeth.
Oh, yeah.
There are things getting pulled out or falling out. And yes, nougat is something that we have as a snack. It's healthier, not as much sugar. Very popular in certain parts of Taiwan. It's kind of cooked sugar. Sometimes they put nuts in it. It can be hard to bite through. It can get stuck in your teeth. And sometimes you might even have trouble swallowing it.
Oh,
but you should chew it more.
Yeah. So when you swallow something, like what Mike is doing here, it's when you eat something and then the movement of your throat allows the food or the water to go down. That is the action of swallowing. So when we talk about something being hard to swallow, that's not a very nice feeling when you're eating something.
No.
You want it to go down smoothly.
Absolutely. You're passing it from your mouth to your stomach, but if it's too big or too dry or there's just too much in your mouth, it can be very hard to swallow, and that could be bad. You could choke or have to cough it up or something like that. So be careful with the nougat. It's delicious, but don't let it kill you. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back.
Really? I just let the nougat warm in my mouth. It was quite pleasant.
I can't say that for the cotton candy.
No way! That was my favorite.
It also made my fingers all sticky.
All right, we're still back with Debbie and Henry as they talk about nougat. Nougat is a little bit tricky to eat. You got to have strong teeth. They make some delicious nougat around Taiwan, I have to point out. And in America or other places, many chocolate bars might have nougat in the middle, and then they cover it with chocolate, and that can also be a nice combination. Now, nougat, as we said, can be hard to chew and hard to swallow, but let's go back to Debbie. She is a professional nougat eater.
Oh, is
she has a tip for all of us to learn from.
Okay, let's see how Debbie eats her nougat.
She's a pro.
Okay, she says, really?
Really? Hard to swallow?
Really? Hard to swallow? No.
Really?
Not for me, not for Debbie.
You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, she says, I just let the nougat warm in my mouth.
Bam.
It was quite pleasant.
That's how they do it at the Olympics.
So I assume she puts the nougat in her mouth, let it settle a bit, kind of suck on it.
Yeah, like a
little.
hard candy.
Yeah,
okay.
That makes sense.
I guess so. To warm here, we're using it as a verb. Now, normally warm might be an adjective. If something is hot, it's a high temperature. If it's cold, it's a very low temperature. If it's warm, it's right in the middle. Now, to use it as a verb, it means you are making something warm. So something was cold, maybe like a soup that you made hours ago. It's cold. You don't want to have cold soup. So you want to make it warm. You want to raise the temperature of that soup from cold to warm. All right, let's get back to talk about some of the more interesting snacks. Now, Henry says, I can't say that for the cotton candy. Oh, so he isn't a fan of cotton candy. Some people might call this candy floss too. That's another way of describing that. I think the only places I've seen this are in night markets and like amusement parks like Liu Futuan or Disney World or something like that. It's magic. They use a fan and sugar and they kind of spin it and it looks like a lady's big hairdo, but it's made of sugar and you put it in your mouth and it just disappears. It's fun to eat.
It is fun
but
to
it's
eat.
not really food.
Yeah, well, so Debbie says, no way. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
She really liked the cotton candy.
Every kid loves cotton candy. I don't think I've had it in 20 years, but maybe I should. But yes, it's not really food. You can't really get full on cotton candy. You might just get very shaky because it's all sugar. And as Henry points out, there are some problems with the eating of the cotton candy. You often have to pull it off. So he says, it also made my fingers all sticky. It's kind of like a big cloud. I guess you could shove your face into it, but then it'll just stick to your hair and stick to your face. You'll look like the wolf man made of candy. That's no good. So you use your hands and imagine eating ice cream with your hands. It will make your fingers sticky.
Yeah, and I guess the heat from our fingers.
It'll just make it disappear.
It'll make it melt. And
it'll lick your...
Yeah, your fingers will get all sticky.
You
so
got to do it quickly.
So when we eat cotton candy or when we snack on things, oftentimes we use our fingers.
That's the way to do it.
Okay, so our fingers are these thingies on our hands, and we have movement, so we use our fingers to grab things.
Absolutely.
Okay, we are the few mammals, right, that are actually able to use our fingers.
That's right. And we have thumbs, which some people might say aren't fingers. Some people say we have 10 fingers, or a scientist might, well, actually, we have 8 fingers and 2 thumbs because they move in different ways. But most people say 10 fingers.
Yeah, so our fingers allow us to pull the cotton candy.
That's right. Hold things.
Hold things.
Very carefully, little movements with them, but they will not stop them even though we are wonderful monkeys and humans and amazing creatures. That won't stop your fingers from getting sticky. And when things are sticky, they have a material on them that kind of wants to hold together with other materials like it, and you kind of have to pull your fingers apart. If you've ever eaten chocolate or ice cream or anything with sugar like that, sugar can be very sticky. I was cutting some garlic the other day.
Yeah.
Garlic is very sticky as well.
Yeah.
And of course, there are certain things like tape or glue. Those are designed, those are made to be sticky. So anything that kind of wants to attach itself to another thing, we could often describe that as sticky with your fingers. You just wash your hands, that's easy. Use some soap and water, get rid of the sugar, and your hands won't be sticky anymore. Thanks for joining us, guys. We've really enjoyed talking about snacks with you. I'm super hungry, so I'm gonna go find some candy floss, some nougat, some Sour Patch Kids, and maybe some pretzels, because, you know, I'm on a diet.
I was going to say pretzels
that's
too.
Healthy. Yeah. Take care, everyone. Don't snack too much. Bye.
Bye.
Debbie and Henry just tried out some new snacks.
I'm not much of a meat person, but I really enjoyed the beef jerky.
Me too, but it was a bit spicy. What about the dried squid?
It's not my cup of tea. I found it too fishy.
So did I. Also, I found the nougat too hard to chew and even harder to swallow.
Really? I just let the nougat warm in my mouth. It was quite pleasant.
I can't say that for the cotton candy.
No way! That was my favorite.
It also made my fingers all sticky.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 person 名词，喜好特定事物的人。Jenny is a cat person. She loves spending time with her cat. Jenny 是爱猫的人，她喜欢和她的猫待在一起。下一个单字 swallow 动词吞咽。It's important to chew your food well before you swallow. 吞咽前充分咀嚼食物是很重要的。Chew 指的是咀嚼。下一个单字 warm 动词使温暖。Kevin used a blanket to warm himself up. Kevin 用一条毯子让自己暖和起来。最后一个单字 finger 名词手指。The boy pointed to the sky with his finger. 男孩用手指指向天空。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个 not much of a 加名词，称不上算不上什么。我们来看看这个例句。Mike is not much of a cook. He usually makes simple meals. Mike 称不上是位厨师，他做的餐点通常很简单。下一个文法 not one's cup of tea 不是某人的喜好，这是一个固定用法。我们来看看这个例句。Action movies are not my cup of tea. 动作片不是我的菜。最后一个文法 So did I 我也是，这是一个肯定复合句的倒装用法，它的结构是 so 加助动词加主词。 用来附和前面提到的情况。注意，助动词必须与前面叙述句的动词时态一致。我们来看看这个例句。Nina likes chocolate, and so does her brother. Nina 喜欢巧克力，她弟弟也是。以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，我们下一课再见，拜拜。
Here's how to play. The host will be holding 3 cards. Each card will have 2 sentences containing a secret vocabulary word or phrase that has been replaced by the word bear. The host will read the sentences out loud for the contestants to guess. Whoever guesses first gets a point. The person with the most points wins. And you can play along too.
Hi everyone, I'm Stephen.
I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Matt.
We're gonna play Guess the Bear. All right, so let's get started. This is a noun. Number 1, even though it wasn't cold, Jeff still wore a light bear.
Jacket.
And then number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. My old bear has a broken zipper. Guess it. Jacket. Okay. I have to give that one to Matt because he waited for the second sentence. Okay. So it is jacket. So the first one was, even though it wasn't cold, Jeff still wore a light jacket. And number 2, my old jacket has a broken zipper. All right, so let's try to keep our thoughts to ourselves and wait for the second sentence. All right, so this is an adjective. Number 1, Amy didn't write bare pages for the essay. Number 2, Jake brought bare sandwiches to feed the whole class.
Maybe?
Enough.
All right. Carolyn got that one. Okay. All right. It was enough. So Amy didn't write enough pages for the essay. And number 2, Jake brought enough sandwiches to feed the whole class. It's very generous of Jake. Okay. This is a phrase, 2 words, and also the tiebreaker. Man, the pressure is on. Okay. Number 1, the DVD bears a small booklet about the movie. Number 2, the meal bears a drink and a side dish.
Comes with?
Okay, Matt got that one. It's comes with. So number 1, the DVD comes with a small booklet about the movie. And number 2, the meal comes with a drink and a side dish. All right, so Matt is the winner of this round, but you are the winner in my heart forever and always.
Sorry, Matt.